Too much in love to admit they're too cheap. Guys apparently wrestling with their women and their wallets because a new poll shows more men want women to chip in when they go out. Apparently, women are not as keen about this. To Michelle and Hadley and Steve on what they make of this. Hadley?
Oh, man, you're going to call me old-fashioned, Neil, but I still think that a man should pay. If he asks you out on a date, if it's the first date, then I expect a man to pay because, listen, we've got a lot of customs and sort of unspoken rules in the dating world, and while many things can change about gender roles and many things can change about the economy, there's still some value to having those customs in place.
What if you asked the guy?
I probably wouldn't do that, Neil.
Well, you probably don't need to. Michelle, what do you make of that?
Men these days, Neil. Absolutely. The woman is not supposed to pay. If you're courting a lady, you're the one who's supposed to pay. If you're the one who's initiating this date, which is usually the males initiating the date, they're the ones who have to pay for it. I understand we're in a bad economy. We have 7.6% unemployment, but there's no excuse. There's no excuse to make the woman pay.
Yeah, but the guys aren't doing that great. You guys actually in this workforce are doing better. So pony up, you cheapskates. What do you think of that?
No, I'm going to agree with Hadley. There are certain, I'm old-fashioned. There are certain traditions. I think that you should treat a woman to a nice date and not make her pay.
Maybe the second date, Steve, then make him pay. What do you make of this?
I'm going to get myself in so much trouble. My expectation is, when I go out on a date with a young lady, is that the first 3 dates, I'm probably going to pay.
Right.
Okay? But if by the second or third date, they're not offering, I won't let them. But if they're not at least offering by the second or third date, I'm going to think this person's selfish. They're, why?
That's very interesting.
Why? But look, if you're a guy and you can't express that, then you've
got problems.
Then you've got problems.
Then you're
if you don't have the confidence,
then the women should wonder about, well, why isn't he asking me to pay? Because he seems like a wuss, right?
Exactly.
Exactly.
There are ways, though, to go on a nice date without having to spend a lot of money. Going to a free museum, going to the park, making food yourself, making dinner. There are ways to save money without making the woman pay.
You sound like Alan Alda with a dress. I cannot believe you just said that. But Hadley, I would. That was a joke. I didn't want you to get you angry, and nor do I want to get Mr. Alda. But I will say this. What are the expectations after the first few dates? To Steve's point here, that after a while you are then, let's say, in simpatico, you both really get along, it's promising. Then what's wrong with saying, all right, pay up, Hadley?
There's nothing wrong, and I think after it's established that you're in a dating relationship, as women, we should offer to pay because, look, in this economy, a study showed that in urban areas, young, single, childless women are actually out-earning their male peers by about 8%. So
yeah, but you're still holding them out, these poor, underpaid SOBs. You're still forcing them to pay up and bringing them further, into poverty.
As a social custom, though, sometimes the question of did the man pay on that first outing helps to distinguish between a casual meal among friends and what's really a date. So I think that these social customs that we have in place, again, they help signal to us where a relationship stands and help us avoid some of the awkwardness that comes with that unsureness.
Well, see, I was such a loser at school. I would offer posters at school saying, "We'll pay for life." But nothing. But Michelle, I mean, the economic environment has changed, right? I mean, women are doing a lot better now in a lot of areas and industries. They're doing much better. So aren't the old rules gone? Aren't the kind of customs that we had in the early days gone?
No, I mean, I think once you get into a serious relationship, then you can talk about, splitting the check and paying for certain things. But I think on the first few dates, absolutely not. The man is supposed to pay.
So where's the cutoff for you, Michelle? I mean, you're stringing the guy along for how long before you say, ta-ta?
Yeah. Maybe this is why I'm single.
Thank you, Steve.
No, I mean, I think once you get into a serious relationship, that's when you start paying for things.
39%, you see, hoping the men don't ask them to pay. What connivers, huh?
The other side of this is I would never hold it against a woman if she said that she wanted to pay for the first couple of things. So there's no downside.
They hold it against you for asking them, apparently.
Even here in liberal New York City.
Really? Where was this done, guys? It was a nationwide poll, right? Larry, do we know? Where was this poll? It was nationwide. It wasn't just New York City, because in New York City.
You would think.
Okay.
But no.
Look, at the end of the day, Neil, if the economy is just too hard and it's too hard to go on those fancy dates, I would just remind people, urge them, what's in somebody's heart is much more important at the end of the day than what's in their wallet.
You don't mean it. I'll tell you, if I had a dime for every woman who said that, I'd have a lot of dimes.
I really believe it.
Just like the same
really
women who told me, Neil, he has a great personality, but no way in hell I'd go out with him again. So I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I don't think you subscribe to that view. I think you could be lying on national TV, Hadley.
I went to see a movie this weekend. I bought the tickets for me and my boyfriend. So
Did you really?
Yeah, I really did.
Who paid for the popcorn, stuff like that?
We didn't have any popcorn.
He struck me as very healthy. That would. They probably held that up like ransom, right, Michelle? I could see her saying, "Well, you know what? I'm not gonna add anything else to this. You want the popcorn, get it yourself." But Michelle, even in this day and age, you're saying chivalry is not dead.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very important. And like I said, look, there are ways to go out on dates without having to spend a lot of money. So there's no excuse for not paying for the woman. I feel like the traditions like this are very important. For,
Michelle, I love you dearly, but the first date with you, if the guy were to go to McDonald's and just go to a bridge or something, hey, let's look at the bridge, look at the city, you wouldn't buy that at all. This guy would be like a memory.
No, you could take me out to a nice museum, walk in the park. I would like that. And that doesn't cost very much money. You don't have to take me to McDonald's, but you could, cook a little something, take me to the park.
Yeah.
To get this,
I think I took my future wife at the time to a roller derby. I don't know, it was something like that.
No, but I think we're all in agreement that early in a relationship, that's what most of the people who responded to the poll said. Most of the men still said they'd prefer to pay for the first date.
Yeah, but Steve was saying, cough up after a while, for God's sake. And I agree with the liberal.
At least contribute.
At least we could do.
To
all a big society, everyone contributes. Absolutely. All right, on Steve's side on this one. Ladies, I'm glad you're on remote.